Hello, everyone. Welcome to 15 Minutes Deep. We're excited to have all of you today. As usual, we always have a good time in the Word and in fellowshipping with each other. And I'm going to turn it over to Fig. He's going to give us a little information about our presenter today. Go ahead, Fig.
Yeah. So I'm excited about the presenter today. It's a young man from Monticello, Arkansas, Daidrian, Millet. We call him Big Tiny. He's a faithful son of the faith, a disciple of mine who loves the Lord, who loves his word, who is diligent in his studies and pursues hard after God's heart. I'm excited about him taking us down through a 15-minute deep today, and pray that the Lord just bless him. So Tiny, take us on down through there.
Yes, sir. I'd like to thank everybody for just opportunity to grow understanding in the word. So the word I'm going to teach today is from Matthew 5 and 6, and we're just going to walk through the verse. So just to let's see. So Matthew 5 and 6 says in ESV, let's see. Okay. All right. So Matthew 5, 6 ESV, it says, "Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied." So just to start, the first question with that is, what does it mean to be blessed? Well, the word blessed stems from the Greek word makarios. Makarios. So makarios means happy, and it also from the Hebrew word, it stems from Ashrei. Ashrei is a prayer that comes from Psalms 145. Okay, so moving on to what does it mean to hunger? Well, this word hunger stems from a Greek word that is panio. Panio, it means to suffer want or to be needy, and it also means to seek with eager desire. So just to put an illustration on this type of hunger, it would be more like if you were starving, you're on the brink of death. What panao would mean, it would be like how much you desire bread at that time. Uh, so yeah, and then moving on to the word thirst. Thirst, it stems from a Greek word dipsao. Dipsao means it describes the eager desire, and it describes how pain is connected to that desire. So while they're eagerly desiring it, they also feel the pain of whatever they're desiring associated with it. So moving on to the Lord, he explains to us what does it mean to be blessed, and those that are going to be blessed are those that hunger and thirst. But for what? It says, for those that hunger and thirst after righteousness. Well, big question is, what is righteousness? Righteousness used in this verse stems from a Greek word, diakosune. Diakosune it has very many definitions. So on the broad sense, it's used to describe a state which somebody ought to be in. It's also described to be a condition that's acceptable to God, and it's also describing the doctrine concerning the way which one may attain a relationship, a state approved by God. But this Greek word, it stems from this Hebrew word, zedekah. Zedekah is used to describe righteousness and justice. But this could be used the Lord expresses this through in many ways. Just to name a few, there would be generosity. He shows it through truthfulness. He shows what's ethically right. Um, he shows it through justification and salvation. Um, and all of this tzedakah, all of this righteousness, it stems from God. Um, and and it can't be there can't be another source of this righteousness. There is no other source besides him. Now, um, next is what did the audience hear after Jesus is saying all this? Well, he's talking to possibly some Israelite common folk, which have known Torah like the back of their hands since they were children. And they also had knowledge of the prophets. So if you go to Matthew 5 and 6 in the Orthodox Jewish Bible, where it says, Ashrei are the ones who are hungering and thirsting for Zedak Hashem, for righteousness. And in parentheses, it says Zedak Olamim, or everlasting righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. So what they would have heard is that they would have heard Jesus bringing up this Zedak Olamim, which was mentioned in Daniel 9:24. So just to give you a little bit of background on Daniel 9:24, this is the time where Israel is in Babylonian exile, and Daniel he's reading from the prophet Jeremiah, and in that prophecy from Jeremiah, that's supposed to reveal an appointed time to where the Israelites will be free from exile from the Babylonians. Well, he reads it, and then he's looking around, and he notices that he doesn't see an end of the exile, like nowhere near in sight. So he's kind of freaking out. Like he's praying, he confesses the sins of Israel, of the nations, to the Lord, and the Lord sees him. He answers him ultimately through the angel Gabriel, and Gabriel gives him proper understanding of the prophecy. So in Daniel 9:24, it says 70 weeks are decreed to your people, to your holy city, to finish transgression, to put an end to sin and atone for iniquity, to bring in everlasting righteousness, to seal both vision and prophet, and to anoint a most holy place. So the people, the audience, the crowds, well, not the crowds, the disciples, they would have heard him not only just talking about the Zedekiah, but also talking about the Messiah, which was to come, which we all know was ultimately himself. Mm-hmm. So when, just a second. So yeah, so he was talking about himself, and so just so far, like he's teaching them about like how to thirst for, what does it mean to thirst, and all of this stuff is going through their heads. So now they got a better understanding of it. Now the good question would be is, what is the reward or promise for those that hunger and thirst for righteousness as Zedekiah? So the reward will be, they will be satisfied. Well, what does it mean to be satisfied? Satisfied Greek stems from a Greek word, kortazo. Kortazo means to fulfill or satisfy the desire of anyone, or to fulfill and satisfy men. And they also use this term towards animals, mainly their livestock, and that means to feed with herbs and grass and hay to fill and satisfy fully or to fatten. So from this understanding, well, from my understanding from this, it's like the Lord, He wants to fulfill us with His righteousness, and He wants to fulfill us even to the point where it shows outside, um, to the point where others can see it, much like the cattle that they were feeding and that they were fattening up. Um, so there was the understanding of what it is to be satisfied, and how's the Lord present us with this righteousness? How does He give access to us with His righteousness? Um, it well, He gives it to us, and He presents it to us in many ways. He gives us access freely, and one good example of the way that He presents it to us is in Isaiah 55, verse 1 through 2, in ESV, where it says, "Come, everyone who thirsts, come to the waters, and he who has no money, come buy and eat. Come buy wine and milk without price, without money and without price. Why do you spend your money for that which is not bread, and your labor for that which does not satisfy? Listen to me, listen diligently to me, and eat what is good, and delight yourselves in rich food." So through this verse, the Lord shows um, great generosity in the way that He will present this righteousness to us, and not even just righteousness, just everything that stems from Him, that we're thirsting for, that we're hungering for, that we painfully are feeling the eager desire for. And He wants us to come to Him, much like he's inviting us over to, it sounds like table fellowship. Um, and the thing is, he's offering this, he's offering this as much as we want, or as much as we would, as much as we can handle. And he's giving it to people who doesn't even deserve it, and it's free of charge. Um, yeah, so it just demonstrates His generosity and the full availability of whatever we're hungering and thirsting for from the Lord, how freely He gives it to us. And so the Lord counts many things as righteous in the scriptures, and there's so many. But one example that I'd like to share with you is in Deuteronomy 6:25, and it's where Deuteronomy is where Moses is giving the laws that was given to him in the past by the Lord again, after the first generation of Israel during the Exodus have passed away, and He's bringing this new generation into the promised land. So Deuteronomy 6:25 says, "It will be righteousness for us if we are careful to do all of this commandment before the Lord our God as He commanded us." So the Lord gives us many ways and many examples, and many clear-cut explanations of what the Lord sees or what He counts as righteousness. So that's all I got. It's my 15 minutes deep.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I love the visuals that you gave us. One thing I can really appreciate what you said when you talked about like painfully feeling the eager desire for. And I felt that way with different people that I've wanted to come to know the Lord. I know what it's like to want something so bad it aches. And so that was just a great visual of what it is like. I want to hunger for God in that same way. And then when you talked about the cattle that's being fed and it fattens up so that you can actually see like, oh, that cow eats good. The fact that the Lord wants to fill us that way, that's encouraging. I appreciate your presentation. Does anybody want to share something that stood out or what you want to walk away with?
Man, that's good, Big Tiny. Thanks for working that thing for us, man. We appreciate you. You got down on in there. Hey, y'all, and Big Tiny's available. Just want y'all to know that. He's a good man. He's a good man, knows that word. So thank you, Big Tiny, for walking us through that. Appreciate you. Love you, man. Proud of you.
Thanks, man.
All right. Anybody else want to share something that stuck out to you?
Well, I like the way, Big Tiny, that you came across and said that God is above faith. You can come and eat as much as you want. That's the vision that I got, And I've been hungry for God and thirsty for God. And now you're saying God is my source. So, like you remind me of the lady at the well when Jesus said, I got some water to give you, that if you take this water, you will thirst no more. So Big Tiny, you took us on down through there. Appreciate it, my brother. See you tonight. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brother Credit. And of course, I left my email address in the chat box. Tiny, don't forget to send me your notes so I can pass them on. And if you are not on the list to receive notes from presenters, just send me an email. I'll add you to that list and we'll get the notes to you. I'll also send you the link where you can subscribe to our 15 Minutes Deep channel and rewatch these presentations and learn and reteach them and share them with others. It's a great resource. We want to encourage you to take advantage of them and also invite a friend next time. So we'll see you next time on 15 Minutes Deep. Thank you, Big Tiny.
No problem.
Have a great Wednesday.
All right, Big Tiny.